Hey there, Svashtis here. I'm just going to do a quick look at character controllers for the kit. I haven't done a lot of research into this. I just did a quick controller myself, and there's been a few people talking about this on the Discord, so I thought I'd do a quick video just to show people how I did it and to give them some assistance. So if we have a quick look at what we're talking about, people wanted to know how to do a boat or a spaceship or something that banked and turned rather than snapped to the direction. So sort of like this. This is set up for keyboard control only. You can't click and mouse. I just wanted keyboard control. But you can see how the spaceship here banks smoothly and doesn't snap to a direction as we move around. So that's basically by changing the character controller, which you'll be able to find under the Unity multiplayer RPG core scripts, gameplay, character controller systems, and default, and there's another one called shooter. Within the default you will find 4 scripts: nearby entity detector, I haven't really touched that, player character controller, find objects, and player character controller inputs. You'll need to change all 3 of these. Well, ideally what you want to do is duplicate all 3 of these and give them a new name that I've done up here. So boat player character controller, boat player character controller find objects, and boat player controller inputs. And for each one you will need to change the partial class title. So it has to match the name of the file and the class here, boat player character controller and boat player character controller. You're not going to change find objects much. In fact, this changing the partial class name is about it. But the character controller and the inputs you will be doing a bit of work in. Now, in order to attach this to something, we need to go to our init scene. So init scene single, your game instance, and you will find a default controller prefab, and you simply just drag your boat character controller to this. That will mean that all characters now use that as the default prefab, which may not be exactly what you want. So you can do it a second way, which is if we can find it, gameplay character entities. There is a different character controller underneath player character entity script for your player character entities, somewhere down just underneath the character title. Here we go, controller prefab. You can change that so every single player character can have a different controller type. The controller types can refer to player character information too, just as any normal scripts do. So I'm not really wanting to sort of post all of the kit's source code out, so I've got a couple of merge file comparisons to show what the kit code looks like compared to what the changes. So on the left is what the kit code looks like, and on the right is my spaceship character controller. Now this is editing the spaceship player character controller file. All this really has is I've added in a few extra variables: camera target looking forward, camera forward, move directions, aim directions. I've added some private floats and serialization so that you can change your turn speeds while sprinting, crouching, crawling, and while doing actions, and whether you can turn while doing an action. And if we come down here, there is a couple of new items. There is a new property, the current turn speed. Just basically queries the player character entity that this is attached to and just double checks what their movement state is. Are they sprinting, are they crouching or crawling, and returns that, and then figures out what their turn speed is supposed to be, so that we can query the turn speed, and then the kit can be doing whatever it wants to do. Obviously I commented something out that didn't need that, and then there's a quick setup base here, which just sets our target look direction to forward initially. And if we scroll a bit further down, there's not really much else changed. I disabled so in the kit we have a call server username. When we use a skill, it uses an aim position value, and it wasn't something that I wanted to do, so I've just removed the aim position values out of that. The second script that has the most changed is the input one. So spaceship player character controller input. Again, you can see the partial class names changed. Not much else has changed. We'll scroll all the way down to where we move direction. So when we've decided to move, if you look at the old code, we basically gets the target entity, figures out if we're playing animations, whatever, and then changes the look rotation to the direction we are moving, and thus we snap directly into the direction we wish to move. That wasn't what we wanted, so we gather our current turn speed from that property in the player character controller script, or the spaceship player character controller script, and we try and determine if the turn speed's greater than 0. If it's less than 0, that means we snap. We basically do the same as what the old code does, we just immediately snap. Otherwise, we will do a bit of rotation. We'll take essentially we've defined the direction we're moving and the direction we are looking. So we have a look rotation, target look direction. We have a target rotation, the direction that we wish to be looking in, the move direction. We basically slurp between those based on our delta time. So the current rotation, the target rotation, and then our current turn speed multiplied by the time in the frames. And that gives us a target look direction based off forward. We set our move direction to the look direction, and a bit further down here we just basically look in that direction. Now this move direction to the look direction was kind of there so that you don't sort of wander off left while trying to move in one direction, so it'll move left while looking straight. This kind of makes us sort of move in the direction we're looking. Anyway, we set the look direction, not the actual move direction, and that's basically it for it. I think there's a couple of other things listed here, but they don't really do anything. I've removed this. If the entity is null, return false. I have absolutely no recollection on why I did that. And that these others are turn character position. This just was often turning our character in a direction I didn't particularly want it, so I've removed that code there. And that's basically it. The others don't do anything. And then if you look at the last script, nothing happens with that one. We've just got the name change and nothing changes in the script. So that's basically it. I'm not going to post all of the code, but I'll post some of the changes that I've got. Just out of interest's sake, let's see whether any of these ones, haven't really looked at this for a little while. Yep, so some of these ships might have different move speeds, turn speeds, and one thing I did discover, I've made this map vastly too large. This was just really a test kit, so fun. So that's basically it. I'll put some code up and I'll see if I can answer any questions. I just wanted something quick so that people could check out the character controllers, just to give them some starting points. Anyway, have a good one. Talk later. Cheers.